And there the ladies are. We're getting a good shot in here. Apparently I need to redo the camera. I think I put the frames per second there. It's a little bit too much, but let's see if that fixes it. I love how the snout nose picture is the first thing we get out of that. You'll get a chance to see it during the replay.
What?
You're
Well, because my nose ring is moving.
I know. Well, you're going to get a chance to see it during the replay, but you'll see what I mean. But either way, welcome to our episode of Top Rope Spoilers for King and Queen of the Ring coming from Jeddah, Saudi Arabia this upcoming Saturday. Don't worry, I'm still here too. I'm just running things a little differently. I'm over here sitting in a different spot and getting a chance to try something new here while I can run the camera and whatnot. But the camera will be left on them for a majority of this because, frankly, I have no hair and they're prettier than I am, so we're just going to run with that.
You asked for it.
Yeah, well, I asked for it and I regret nothing. So we're going to end up trying to make a move with that and going from there. But either way, how are we doing tonight?
Good. Yes, we ate dinner. We ran.
errands,
we did everything we needed to do. Yeah. Now we're just doing the show and rounding out the night.
Well, we'll go ahead and move into it here, so that way we can get started. I'm going to switch the camera over to me when it's my turn to talk. But for the most part, this allows everybody to get a little bit more freedom. I can move the camera around so we can get a couple of close-up shots should we want to, but also at the same time kind of going with something that allows me to do have a little more freedom with going through the ability to be able to run the show during it instead of me trying to look with my terrible eyesight. That look exactly right there. But this is for King and Queen of the Ring from Jeddah. This is the 12th live event from Saudi Arabia. So we'll see how all that's going to play out. The scoreboard, you see it up there on the left-hand side. OTRA's holding a very slight lead after Payback, ultimately taking the lead from our current two-time champ, Alyssa. She's got 13. I also have 13. Kia's got 12. So, at least I haven't fallen way behind the board like I did last year and just waved at y'all from the back the entire season.
And then you also waved at the Sweet Sweepers, but
I stayed just ahead of the Street Sweepers, and I almost caught you at the end.
No, you didn't.
But anyway, let me throw our little pick scoreboard up here so that way we can set that timer.
That's how it's going to stay.
Perfect. And for anyone that's joined us for a show before, first of all, welcome back. And, we do have a couple of viewers out here, so be sure to take the time to throw some comments in there. The ladies have no problem answering questions. Maybe they'll provide us some information on what the next Pour the Tea topic is going to be about, because it's been a little bit, and the fan base grows impatient. The internet rests for no one.
Hey, man. Y'all get out here and work these houses.
Right.
Then come home.
These big mansions.
Fair enough.
Go clean them houses for us.
Them big house mansions.
But right now, the King and Queen of the Ring premium live event coming up at 1 o'clock Eastern on Saturday only has 5 matches currently on the card, similar to what they did with Payback. Payback ended up only having 5 by the end of it as well, and somehow they still turned that into a 4-hour event. So they're finding ways to go with quality over quantity. Instead of it needing to be, we need 14 matches on WrestleMania, they're finding ways to put out great shows despite only having 5 or 6 matches on the card. So, bravo to them for doing so. And 2 of them technically aren't even finalized yet at the time of this recording, but we can't afford to wait until an hour before we're going to get started to throw a video up, or it kind of defeats the purpose. But we'll go ahead and move into our first match here of the 5, and that is a triple threat match for the Intercontinental Championship. So I'm going to set that here, and I'm going to flip over to my camera here very quickly so that way y'all can be able to see it, because this is the one belt I get to hold throughout this entire show. The ladies get to hold the rest. First of all, representing Mania Club, we all have on our Mania Club jerseys. Alyssa wearing the 38 blue. Myself and Kia are both wearing the ones from 40. This is the Eagle Green, and you've got the TME club jersey. So, continuing to well represent throughout the years. We'll have to bust out the 39 one at some point, and we might still have a copy of the old 37 back there somewhere.
Oh, I have all mine. I don't send mine away.
Oh, also, we did have a sponsor for this as well. I think I'm close enough, but just like the Plate Exchange episode earlier, Chick-fil-A TruettsLuau sponsoring our shows for today. So, Truett's,
give us free stuff.
Give us free stuff. But this is the rare moment that you can do so. But usually you can only find these out in the South. Kind of adds like a little Hawaiian flavor to Chick-fil-A. So not bad, but definitely an acquired taste to say the least. But
he's nicer than me.
Yeah, I was gonna say Alyssa doesn't joke about her food when she's decided that food is not for her. That is kind of the end of the discussion at that stage.
Oh, don't. Sorry.
Why is that?
My face was on 10. I didn't realize you were flipping back.
Oh,
hey man,
my lord!
Y'all leaping behind. Sit down.
Our new fur babies are over there deciding they want to cause some havoc right now.
All I
So
see
we'll
is a little dive. Y'all ain't jumping in no swimming pool. Sit down. Please.
But let's move on. Let me go ahead and get the clock started here so we can discuss our first match. But as I said, it is a triple threat match for the Intercontinental Championship. Right now, the current holder, Sami Zayn, is the incumbent going into it, and he has successfully defended his championship against each of his two opponents individually, in that of the Alpha Academy leader turned now heel Chad Gable, as well as Big Bronson Reed, the winner of the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal just before WrestleMania. Both have wasted no time telling Sami and Gunther, when he was still champion at the time, that whoever wins, they were coming for them next. Gable has believed that it's always been his destiny to be the one to end Gunther's run. Ultimately, Sami, though, winning the gauntlet and ultimately dethroning Gunther's reign of 666 days at WrestleMania, and has been successfully defending his championship against all folks while trying to prove not just to himself but also to the locker room that he is deserving of being the one to dethrone Gunther. Gable, however, has basically tired of taking a back seat in the inevitable heel turn that we were expecting. There you see Ophelia has joined the chat. I'm sure that our other one, Richmond, will join the story here shortly. And yes, I am aware that it seems like we have a new cat virtually every episode, but here we are.
It's a struggle, okay?
Yeah, I was going to say.
None of y'all's business, though.
Exactly. But either way, Sami, now faces his toughest challenge since winning the championship, as he does face Gable, who is already enough trouble on his own, and then you add Bronson Reed in there as well. Add no disqualification, add no countouts, where you've got to find a way to be able to pin one of these two. This is just not seemingly favoring Sami, although he has a pretty good track record in Saudi Arabia. He actually has done pretty well there over his history. So, ladies, I turn it over. Technically, Alyssa's still ahead of Kia, so she gets first speech.
First speech. Okay. Okay.
I knew I should have queued up the Jeopardy sound effects.
Read between the lines.
This is a children's show.
I know. That's why I said between the lines.
There you go.
For you and everyone else. Hey, y'all. Honestly, this is one of the matches that I'm looking forward to, because you've seen the little beef between Sami and Chad. Lord, I was drawing a blank there. So it's time to go to bed. But no, you've seen the little beef between Sami and Chad, and I enjoy the fact that Sami has really, held his own. The Chad Gable heel turn, that's one thing I will say. I was not expecting that. But actually, I'm not really mad at it. I hate the way he talks to his team.
Yeah, I was going to say, you wondered with Otis being stuck in the middle of this and adding the no disqualification thing, how is that going to potentially play a role in all of this?
I hate the way he treats them now, but, also, I kind of get it. Y'all got to be out here winning. Y'all got to be out here. But, that doesn't mean you can treat your team like crap, But, hey, and I also feel like Bronson is ready for that big push. He was supposed to get it before WrestleMania, so I look forward to seeing how they, He
made the right call.
Yeah,
I'm going to say that. Again, we don't do things. He gave up a shot at the World Heavyweight title to be at the birth of his son.
So
he absolutely that is absolutely the right call.
So I look forward to seeing how they get him back on track for that push, because he definitely, in my opinion, has earned it.
And bravo to H for not taking his push away from him, for choosing family over job.
Right.
Good for him.
Well, you have to think, H as a father has 3 or 4 girls.
He's got 3, I believe.
Yeah, so I think of all people, he would be the one that understands. For me, I I like the fact that Sami has been holding his own with no help from no one. He's been, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this the right way. Have all comers step to me. I mean, he did it to Gunther. Took Gunther out and did it gracefully, honestly. But for me, I feel like that's a respect factor for me, that you can actually say, hey, I'm going to win this title. I'm going to do what I need to do, and finally won the title and has been holding it. Has been, saying all comers step to me, and pretty much Chad feels like he is rightfully owed, which you don't. I think you have to earn it. You don't just get it. Like, it's just like respect, in my opinion. It's given. It's not given. You have to earn it. But for me, I feel like I agree with this. I do not like how Gable is talking to his team. Maxine, you can tell it's affecting her in all her other matches. Otis is on the fence because, Otis is a very nice guy. I've never seen a, mean bone on Otis. And Tozawa, I don't even know what to say for poor Tozawa, man. Like, I don't know. I think this faction could do better off without Gable. I understand you brought them up and you've tried to assist them, you tried to help them, but now you're just being rude and crude and cruel. And it's only a matter of time before your own team turns on you. So when is that turn going to happen? And the heel turn, I kind of saw it coming. It's just the way he started acting, the way he started talking. I saw it. I just didn't know if it was going to be sooner rather than later. And
I was not paying attention. That sign.
For me,
I like how we all three went.
You couldn't see me on the camera, but I did it too.
We all three went.
We got about 10 seconds left.
Sorry.
So, no, you're good.
No, you're fine.
I'm just saying, I would like to. And then Bronson, I feel like he's done everything he's supposed to, and he's had to go away and he came back. So yeah, let's go ahead and give him that push. Let it be what it's going to be, and I'm looking forward to seeing how this match plays out.
Cool. So now we go ahead and hit our official picks. It goes Alyssa, me, then Kia at that stage. So Alyssa, you're up first because you were in the lead before coming into the tie. And the picks for the OTRAs, by the way, anybody who is joining us for the first time, go to our YouTube community page. Look for us as On the Ring Apron. This gets uploaded here the next day, so if you want to see a replay, you can. But also at the same time, there's a community page with these votes on here, and you can represent the OTRA group, which right now technically is co-champions with Alyssa after last year. But Alyssa, we vote gets the plates on the belt because, she had it previously. But anyway, an opportunity to be able to, put your votes in there and make your votes count. But either way, Alyssa, where are you heading with this one?
Honestly, I'm kind of stuck between Sami and Bronson. But I'm going to pick Sami because he is like a roach. He takes all the whooping. He has made smart enough decisions that I feel like he'll be able to get out of it. And also, I'm ready to see Bronson go to something bigger. So, hey, I'm going to go Sami.
Alrighty, interesting call there.
Yeah.
Throwing the camera back on me here for a minute. I am going to be the oddball here. I'm actually going to go with Bronson Reed. I think that, just like I mentioned earlier, I think that, H has not punished him for choosing to give up the title shot that he was going to have. Now, the likelihood of him winning the world title right before Elimination Chamber is almost zero because of the storyline that Seth was in at the time. But you look at it from the perspective of going, okay, who was going to be the guy to get that big push? And I feel like this is going to be that moment where he's going to get rewarded. I feel like Otis is going to, put his nose in here as well. And I do think that he's going to have to make a choice, whether it's siding with Sami or siding with Gable. You just don't know which way he's going to lean yet. But ultimately, I think the chaos of all of that is going to end up befalling both Sami and Chad. And I think Bronson is going to be the one who's going to do it. And I think you get yourself a good new Intercontinental champion. I'm going with Bronson Reed. Kia, flipping back to you.
So for me, I like Sami. I believe in everything that Sami is. And you understand, every time Sami...
Like Joe Hendry?
Just couldn't start.
You couldn't.
No, I could not.
I believe everything... I believe in everything that Sami is. So, I mean, honestly, and you have to think, he gets a good standing ovation every time he's over there in Saudi Arabia. They love him. He loves them. So I'd like to see Bronson have the title at some point, but I don't think it's going to be this time around. So, honestly, I'm pulling for Sami Zayn.
Taking Sami as well.
Neck beard.
Da 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 da. Cool. All right, so 2 votes Sami, 1 vote Bronson,
Yeah.
and we'll see how the OTRAs are going. I can't say I looked at the picks since I posted them this morning, so
Okay.
I couldn't
So
tell you where
there's-
things are sitting right now. But let's move to match number 2. All of the non-tournament matches are all championship matches, but we're moving into the lone women's championship match on the line, and that is for the women's world title from Monday Night Raw, as the man,
Girl.
Becky Lynch, will defend her women's world championship against the leader of the Revenge Tour in Liv Morgan. Now, this one has certainly been one that has been kind of derailed because of the injury to Rhea Ripley. Now, it fits well into storyline that ultimately it was Liv that injured Rhea. And so while obviously, I mean, it wasn't done on purpose, and certainly not the way that I'm sure that Rhea wanted to end her 1+ year title reign as champion, ultimately you now have the man Becky Lynch leading the Raw brand in the women's division through the European tour, and here heading into the Middle East for a match in Saudi Arabia. Becky actually has only ever competed in Saudi once. This will actually be Liv's 3rd time in Saudi, so Liv actually holding a bit of an experience advantage here in terms of, competing in front of the Saudi Arabian crowd. And Liv just seems like she is more focused and more determined on what the path is, and that is, I'm laying waste to everybody. I'm going to destroy everyone in my path, and I'm going to do whatever I have to do with, she believes, the final piece of the puzzle being the women's world title, saying 10 years in the business, and now it will end with me being finally where I've always rightfully belonged. Becky, of course, no stranger to a good fight, as most Irish people are. So she definitely is ready to come in and defend. Everybody knows the audible that she has had to be asked to be called here with the injury to Rhea, and also figure she's doing all of this while her husband is at home recovering from surgery himself. So a lot of time when you're halfway across the world, away from your husband and away from your daughter. But Becky has always been, one of the most pristine people in the business. And so we'll see, if it's going to be enough for Liv's Revenge Tour to end here with the ultimate gold going around her waist, or will the man be able to keep it moving? Kia, we start with you in terms of your thoughts.
This girl is so stale, like bad bread.
Which one?
Liv. Go ahead and put her back on the shelf where she needs to be, because this storyline is just, I'm not feeling it. Honestly, with all respect, I wish Rhea hadn't have got injured, because Rhea was doing the damn thing every time she was called on both brands with her title. And the way I view it, I view Becky just going in and pulling out all the Irish in her and like taking that Irish and whipping Liv with it and whipping her good. First of all, what is the whole spiel here? Like literally trying to what? Because you got upset because you were put on the shelf. I don't think Rhea intentionally did that, but I think what you did to Rhea was intentional. It was done on purpose. And say what you want, it is what it is. But honestly, you've had your little run and it's over now. So let it be known that it was great while it lasted. But
so go on and take a bow.
No, just go on and leave.
Right, here we go.
Leave.
No, just go ahead and go.
I got jokes for days, y'all.
He's not here all week.
Damn right, I work.
As far as I'm concerned, it just looks like it's forced. I could say that for a lot. No, I can't say that for a lot of them. I could say it for one other person, but that will not be mentioned. It's just I don't want to see it. I honestly feel Becky, she's been called here for a reason, and she's doing what she has to do. And like you said, she's away from her husband and her daughter, and that takes a lot, knowing how much she loves both of them. So I don't see, in all respects to Becky, I don't see that title coming off of her, especially to go to Liv. Are you kidding me right now? Girl, bye.
Alyssa?
Okay, so I'm also not a big Liv train fan right now.
Whoop.
It's something about it. I don't know. It's just not doing it for me. But that's me personally.
It does feel forced, though. It really does.
It's almost like when she was in her first title reign, and she was trying to get
There's
have that
there's
extra,
Richmond behind Kia's
there
head.
they are. Having that extra like force or whatever when she was going against Ronda when they were doing no holds barred or whatever the hell they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, I don't know. I like her better as a face. That's me. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. But this whole thing, then bringing Dom into it, it's like, it's just getting messy real quick. And I just hope she knows what she's doing. Because you're poking on one of the biggest bears in the women's division. And when she comes back with them skippity paps, I have no sympathy. So, hey, as far as Becky is concerned, we know Becky can hold her own in the ring, out of the ring, on the mic, not on the mic, you know. So, Liv has a tall challenge. I'm just ready to see if she's ready to deliver.
And that's what it truly comes down to in this match is the fact that, you know, Liv Morgan is trying to, you know, run this revenge tour in terms of, and it almost does feel like it's a forced persona, you know. I think that, you know, originally you could have given her like a Harley Quinn type of, you know, vibe and maybe it would have worked. The problem is you've already used it in the past with Alexa Bliss.
I mean, I think Liv also had it for a short amount of time. I think they did that sometime around Halloween when everybody was playing dress up and everything. So no, that's not going to even help her.
And there kind of in lies the issue is because of the fact that you're trying to make a person. This is almost like, you know, going to a bodybuilding contest and then you've got this one person that's just really tall but not really built. You know, it's like they look the part but they just can't do it. And I mean, Liv Morgan just, you know, she's tried to prove she's dangerous when she took on people like Shayna Baszler, Ronda Rousey, people like that. The issue with it, though, is the fact that that's not her natural persona.
And also,
you know,
it was when they were doing those matches, they didn't help by making her a credible threat. It would be by pin, or
you know, I
like
barely
a roll up, like not giving that solid credit that she needed. Jesus Christ, daughter, Lord,
she's trying to eat the phone.
Hey, don't put my toes out there. Those things are not for free. Calm down.
But I need to set up with something like Ophelia alert, you know, or something. I got to set something up for the next one.
All I see is my legs.
But, you know, I mean, it does feel like, though, and that's the problem, like you said, is the fact that, she was escaping matches with Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey.
If she was going to be a credible threat, they needed to start that foundation before.
Right.
Now, it doesn't... And,
you know, and it's not like this is the first time they haven't tried it with Liv Morgan, because they ultimately had, you know, like... Remember when Liv was they were ending her run with the Riot Squad, and this was a little before Alyssa's time here. You know, remember they had her calling out Charlotte Flair, and she went out and put on like a 15-minute match, and it's like, okay, she can actually do something, but then they carry nothing behind it after that. I just feel like it's a lot of bark, but no substance behind it, and that's the problem I'm having with this. So it actually makes my pick relatively easy here, so let me move the camera back over to me here. But I am going to take Becky Lynch to retain here. You know, I hate to use this line because I hate the term using it, but it really just, there's no better term here. Becky's a placeholder. This was supposed to be Rhea Ripley. This was supposed to be Rhea's rivalry with Liv Morgan. Liv was the person who had been set up. Liv's the person who keeps coming in second. She was the last person from the Royal Rumble, last person from Elimination Chamber. Last person in, you know, elimination matches, gauntlet matches. You know, she's come up one person short multiple times. And it just feels like, you know, again, this was supposed to be Rhea Ripley standing here. And I do think that the end game is ultimately going to result, whether we like it or not, whether you're a fan of it or not. I do think Liv Morgan is eventually going to end up with the championship, but I don't think it happens here. I think the crowd will be behind Becky, and I just think they need to put a little more behind Liv if you're going to make her a credible champion. So I'm going to take Becky to retain. Kia, you'd be up next.
So this is very easy. I am taking Becky Lynch to win this whole entire thing. If anything, I think she's going to dominate most of the match. Liv might have a couple of, you know, hits and jabs and punches and here's and there's, and she might be slick and she might come off with something slick, but I don't feel like she's going to get the job done. So here's to Becky. Here. Yep.
Alyssa?
Same. I mean,
I'm not feeling this.
You've got to add more behind Liv. You can't just sit there. They did it with Cody. He couldn't go in and just, I'm back. Now I'm going to beat Roman. No. They spent a year building him up. They need to put that same time and everything behind Liv. You need to have her go. You need to have her beat everybody. And then at that point. But again, you can't do that based off of not piddly, but little matches and little escapes.
And the one issue that you're seeing, though, and you're seeing it amongst the fan base, and really, and I'm not speaking across all of social media here, I'm speaking amongst enough people, that you're seeing enough of a drift away from Liv Morgan, not because you're not a fan of her, but just you're not a fan of just what she's putting on screen right now. And so even people that were hardcore, Liv deserves gold, Liv deserves a push, that's not a Money in the Bank cash-in, and everything else, she deserves a legitimate title shot. It feels like, again, it's been forced, and even the most hardcore of Liv fans are starting to slide away. Becky is just naturally Becky.
Yeah.
And it works, so bravo to this one, but we'll see if H will pull the trigger on, the Liv Revenge Tour ending here with the world title, or if Becky will continue on.
If he doesn't, the fans probably will, because she's not putting out anything that you want to see. I'm sorry. That's my bathroom break, honestly. Bathroom break, shower break, go check on the kids break. I'm just saying, and I hate to say it for the other person that's standing across from her, because it's not fair to that other person, and right now it's not fair to Becky.
Well, a little side note here, because we can take a minute or so to talk about it, but you'll actually be elsewhere on Saturday, exactly. So we'll have more information on that, because we can't reveal the information of all of that quite yet. But more on that to come here in a little bit, because I know we're very excited on what's about to hit the On the Ring apron stuff. But Kia will be representing our group in an event coming up this weekend. So you will be missing King and Queen of the Ring, but I'm sure you'll be paying semi-attention to it as you go along.
I'm sure, y'all will text me and let me know how my picks are doing.
Liv did it!
What?
What do you mean Cody lost?
Huh?
And speaking of Cody...
I leave for one freaking... You know what? That's fine.
Let's move into the third and final championship match of the evening. This is actually a rare champion versus champion match. And this was one that was kind of in debate for a little bit, because you just weren't sure if this was going to be one where it was going to be, both titles were going to be on the line, or was it only going to be just one of them. When it was announced, much to Cody's surprise per se, that his next opponent for the undisputed WWE Championship is going to be the current United States Champion, Logan Paul, the Maverick. Now, his brother is getting ready to have a boxing match against Mike Tyson around that same area about a week and a half from now. And you've heard my thoughts on social media. If Tyson cares for 2 seconds about that fight, Jake's in trouble. But I also didn't think Tyson Fury would lose this last weekend either, and he did, to a much smaller opponent, and now is no longer the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. So, there's still a reason you get in there and still compete. But, everybody was wondering, would this be a champion versus champion, winner-take-all type of match that they did with Lesnar and Roman back at WrestleMania? But ultimately, it was officially put pen to paper that this is only for the undisputed WWE Championship. So Logan's title is not on the line, but he has an opportunity to walk out of Saudi Arabia as a double champion, including holding the world title, one of the 2 world titles in WWE, and all of this just over a month before he goes to his hometown of Cleveland, where then potentially you could be staring down 2 Logan Paul matches at SummerSlam, including potentially a rematch against Cody Rhodes. So you look at where everything is standing. Alyssa, you're up first on this one. But first of all, your thoughts on Logan not being willing to put his United States title on the line, but also at the same time, why Logan here versus, potentially some other people who don't have gold at all right now?
Coward.
I don't know. I don't know why they would do that, honestly. Well, we do know one thing. Logan likes to run his mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
And
he's good at it, and he makes a hell of a lot of money doing it.
But I feel like that's why he's kind of in here right now. I mean, again, we've noticed a really good trend with Logan. he goes to the biggest dog in the yard and says, and he normally gets slapped right back from it. Track record, not bias or anything.
Yeah.
But he normally gets put back in the doghouse. But you gotta commend him for trying, you know?
Yeah, you do.
Can't be mad at him, you know?
Well, there's a saying, quiet mouths don't get, closed mouths don't get fed.
Right, and you have to commend him for that. But also, if you are going to be out here running your mouth, at some point you have to back that up. But we don't mind our business. Getting all bark, no bite.
Well, the reality is this is going to be actually his second opportunity to try to win the WWE Championship because he got a shot at Roman in that same building 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So, this will actually, for a person who's not even a full-time competitor on the roster, for him to all of a sudden now be getting 2 shots at the WWE Championship tells you exactly what they are expecting of Logan Paul. And the one thing you've said straight up, and Alyssa, you hit the nail on the head, and Kia, feel free to piggyback through this, is the fact that, they're having him swing for the fences. Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Ricochet, and now, again, and now you're adding Cody into the mix, as well as now rewarding him with a rather lengthy United States Championship run. Right now, he is the longest tenured champion on the roster. So, and that's saying something considering the track of, the champions we currently have, for him to be the longest reigning champion right now in WWE or in NXT.
Yeah.
So, it's something that is rather impressive despite the fact that he's not here regularly. But, can you imagine, you say you run his mouth, so Kia, throw your thoughts in here. Can you imagine a Logan Paul holding 2 WWE championships as a part-timer and then getting to walk around for the next 2 months holding 2 sets of gold?
Jesus Christ, it's already hard enough for me to hear him running his mouth about his United States Championship, taking pictures here, taking pictures there, doing this, doing that. No, now don't get me wrong. I have respect for the man. He's come in, he's taking this business seriously. He works hard at what he does, and I'm going to give him credit.
Can't argue that.
I'm going to give him credit even more so. This is not the first time he's had to work hard at something. He, all his life, doing the background research on him, he has literally come from the ground up. So I can see why he's proud of all his accomplishments and what he does from a day-to-day basis, because it was not easy for him. And for me, I love seeing him compete. I love watching him and watch what he's going to do. And I think that started with the whole Roman and Logan versus, after seeing him fly through the air and, the camera coming with him. That's where it started for me. Also, I'm trying to figure out, why wouldn't you want to put your United States Championship on the line? If it's going to be Cody has to put his on the line, you should have to do the same thing. I feel like it should work both ways, but that's fine. And my question is, are you going to bring KSI or whoever with you, and you're going to have your little nuts? Because someone brought that up. Every time he needs, and I think it might have been Cody if I stand corrected, every time he needs to go to his final, salvo, it's the nuts, or it's someone who has to help him. It's like, Cody should be used to this at this point. He's had to go through it with the bloodline. He had to go through it with, the final boss and the tribal chief and Paul Heyman and Jimmy and Solo. So this is nothing new for Cody. I feel like Cody can hold his own and do what he needs to do, and it is going to be what it's going to be. But I want to see where this goes. I want to see how this plays out.
I agree. And at the end of the day, we know that Cody is going to be a fighting champion. He's going to be a person that's going to take on all comers. And despite the fact that he's holding the United States Championship, bravo to piggyback off of it, to Logan for continuing to keep raising that level. He's never satisfied with where he's standing. Something we took note of that has nothing to do with WWE. Of course, the big deal is that the Prime bottles and the Prime logos are on the live event inside the ring. But now you're seeing Prime on the pitches for Premier League matches out in England. We're seeing them on the court side for the NBA playoffs. Prime is everywhere right now. This man is making money hand over fist. And, I remember something that, and forgive me, I'm paraphrasing here, so by all means, ladies, correct me if I'm wrong on this, or in terms of what I'm saying, but Rihanna was somebody who said, she did music to make the money to get to do the things she does now. She has the Fenty line. She has, she sells the underwear, she sells the clothes, she sells the makeup, beauty products, everything else. That's what she said she always wanted to do, but she also was a good singer, so she sang and made the money so she could get to do what she wants to do. Well, that's Logan Paul in a nutshell. He is getting to live out the WWE life because of the name he made for himself doing other things. YouTube is going to be where he's going to make his bread and butter. This is just a bonus on everything else, and he is living out truly a dream of anybody who goes out and says nothing's impossible. Logan Paul is the definition of, I can absolutely go do anything I want to do if I set my mind to it.
Yeah.
Great example, whether you like him or not. He's a great example you can set for kids. And our son even did a project on him this last semester, researching Logan Paul's biography, so bravo.
Yeah.
But let's move to our picks here. Kia, you're up first on this one.
I already think everybody knows who I'm going to pick.
This will take about half a second.
I mean, it's in the shirt. It's on the belt. I'm literally picking Cody. Nothing against Logan. I will pick Cody against everybody. Except for maybe John Cena, probably. But,
Hey, it could happen.
Yeah, it could.
If it would have been both titles, then
Maybe.
But, yeah, maybe. They might be crazy enough to do it, but it was only one Cody. I like Cody to retain.
Yeah, and I gotta go with Cody too. Ultimately you look at it from the perspective of you had such a hard time with them fussing over the fact that Roman was a part-timer, and now you've got Cody on the show every single week, and now you're gonna the guy who just ended the 2-year-long story now all of a sudden loses to Logan Paul, and now not one but 2 titles are now going to be heading off, leaving SmackDown with no world champion on its brand, at least on the male side of things. So Bayley, step up, honey. I feel like it's the right moment. I could see some shenanigans happen where maybe this leads to another match. Maybe this happens in Cleveland, or maybe this happens, at the next event. But I do think Cody is going to walk out still with the championship. This was probably the easiest pick of the group.
Yeah.
Yes.
So with that, we go ahead and we move into what was basically going to be, we're just going to co-main event this pretty much. So I'm going to add 2 additional minutes to our clock here. So we're going to do this last one over an 8-minute segment instead of our normal 6. But basically, because of the fact that we don't have the King and Queen of the Ring set up in terms of what are the matches, we're basically having to kind of do a unique pick set here. So if you actually look at our community page on YouTube, again, on the Ring Apron, you see all of our social medias down there on the bottom right. Essentially, you get the option when you're making your selection of either taking the person who has made it already from Raw, which is Gunther on the men's side, and Lyra Valkyria from the women's side, against whoever will win the SmackDown finals on Friday, but it'll happen so close to the event that we had to do the show prior to it happening. So basically, you can either choose Gunther or Lyra, or you can choose whichever person comes out of the SmackDown match, which on the men's side is either going to be Randy Orton or Tama Tonga, and on the women's side it will be either Nia Jax or one half of the women's tag champs in Bianca Belair. So you're looking at a dream match on a number of different fronts here, especially with Gunther sitting on the side. I'm going to throw my 2 cents in here, but I'm going to give y'all a chance basically for each of you to take one and just give your thoughts on it. I don't care who goes with which one. To me, with Gunther winning on Raw, Tama Tonga at this moment makes no sense.
He doesn't.
Unless you're going to have Gunther conquer the entire bloodline, in one match, or maybe it takes 4 or 5 people from the bloodline to be the one to defeat Gunther. That's the only way I could see Tama Tonga doing it. But you also get the possibility of a godforsaken match of the year candidate in Gunther versus Randy Orton. I think that's too good to pass up, especially in front of that crowd. On the women's side, Lyra and Bianca would absolutely tear the house down. They absolutely would. Bianca can make any crowd get on their feet. Lyra is getting they're getting louder and louder for Lyra with everything. I think putting her in the finals was a great decision to really build her up and to get her credibility up on the main roster after her NXT call-up. But I've been saying this since the beginning. I think it's Nia's tournament to lose. And also the unique path that Nia would take because of the fact that she would have beaten Naomi, Jade Cargill, and Bianca Belair, all one behind the other, who all teamed together at WrestleMania, and she would have beaten them in 3 consecutive weeks to get to the finals. And I do feel like that would be a very tall task for Lyra if she does have to do it, because essentially her finishing move, the Nightwing, requires you to lift up an opponent, and I don't know if she's got the strength to be able to pick up a Nia Jax. So this will be a tough call for either one of them. But either way, I don't care who takes men's, who takes women's, but go for it.
So let's go ahead. I guess I'll take the men's. When it comes to Gunther, bravo to him. I mean, I'm honestly, with all respect to everybody else that was in this thing, I could have seen it, but Gunther just had his title taken by Sami, so what better way to kind of push him to the forefront of King of the Ring? And then on the flip side, Tonga just got here. I don't feel like he really has done anything to deserve this type of push. If anything, I know Randy has come back from injury, has worked hard, has done everything he needed to do, has been asked to do everything and he's done everything within reason, and him and Kevin Owens have got this friendships, bromance thing going, and it's great. But on the flip side, like you said, Steven, it makes no sense for it to be Tama Tonga. If anything, it makes more sense to have a veteran who's been here for a long time and do what he's done and go up against Gunther. That'd be a match I'd want to see.
Now, if Jay had won on Raw,
Lord,
then Tonga would have made more sense.
It would have.
Because it would have forced Jay to go back up against the Bloodline again with a major achievement on the line. So it would have made more sense for Tonga then, but not with Gunther.
But also, with that being said, if it was Jay that had done it, it would have been a chance for him not only to win King of the Ring, but maybe to help Paul, because Paul's needing that help, even though I just...
Help be stamped across the forehead.
I feel like it should be.
Spun the toilet paper on this shit.
So, I mean, for me, I feel like Randy Orton and Gunther would be a good match to watch, to see, and to actually enjoy, get behind whoever you feel it could take the whole entire thing. Now, your turn. Oh, and by the way, we did not mention how she got her hair straightened today. It looks so beautiful.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, turn your head real quick. Look at that ponytail. Look at that. Hang on. I can even get a zoom in here. Well, a slight one. But yeah, anybody who's been here knows she normally has the little curly hair, but she went straight and now got the nice ponytail. Ophelia with the sleeping cameo behind her.
Yeah, period.
I don't know where the other critter is.
That's the stat.
Yeah, we're not far away. Anyway, Alyssa, you get the women's tournament.
All right, so for the women's, again, you've got to give your credit where it's due. Lyra has come in. We knew Lyra was going to be good, but for the people who don't watch NXT for whatever reason,
first of all, what's wrong with you?
NXT is really good.
NXT is it's fantastic.
I didn't like it at first. I was like, okay, and next. But because the Tribal Chief wasn't on there, I know I'm the Lulu for the Tribal Chief. If you don't know, now you know. I'm sadly crying on the inside until this man gets back. But it's not about him right now. Still love you, Mookie. Leave me alone, okay? Okay. Anyway, so back to it. But like I said, for the people who didn't watch NXT, that girl was out there bodying everybody. Like, she's super nice when you meet her in person. You can't ask for a better person. Like, she's so humble and I loved her. Like, but yeah, Lyra has been out here kicking some ass, and you can even see it. Yeah, you can even see it with her respect from Becky, because she took the NXT title off of Becky. Even Becky now, I was like, go out there and get him, girl. Like, even on the main roster. So I love that respect, that passion. Now the other side, child, Lyra, you got a tall task, baby. No matter which way you go.
But no matter which one comes off of SmackDown, you're the underdog.
You are the underdog, and that's okay. We all got to start somewhere. You've bodied everybody on your side. Mad respect to you, but you have got to really talented, really skilled, really experienced women on that other side. And I think she's going to do well against whoever. I think whoever she goes up against will make her look good. They will, they will push her to limits she hasn't gone to yet. Because, again, I mean, the people she beat were no slouch, but they're also not Bianca Belair or Nia Jax. So, I mean, again, she's had a really good push in this first half of the tournament with her side, and I feel like she'll go out there, and I really do feel like she'll hopefully get a push very similar to Tiffany. I don't think she's gonna win it. But, when it comes to Tiffany, that girl's been out here taking names, kicking butt, and they've pushed her to the limit, but not pulled the trigger. And I really do feel like she'll get the same or similar push with that. Yes.
But anybody who was looking over here, I just did the little square symbol basically for Money in the Bank. I think it's going to be Tiffy in the Bank. I think that's where she's going to get her moment.
Yeah.
But we go ahead and we've got about 20 seconds here. So we're back around to the beginning of this one again. So we'll go with Alyssa first. So essentially what we're going to go with is your pick is ultimately either whoever is the Raw person or you can take the SmackDown person. But, just for the sake of it, out of the 3 people that are left on each side, who do you think, who are your king and queens of the ring at the end of the night?
For me, going for the king of the ring, honestly, no matter who comes out of the SmackDown side, I really do think it's going to be Gunther. That man needs to push. Randy, I do lean more towards Randy than Tama just because he makes more sense, and they are going to put on a banger. That'll be definitely a match of the year candidate. Absolutely. Not even questioning it. But I think it's Gunther's tournament to lose. He's done everything you need him to do over these past 2-ish years, with his reign. And I think it's time for him. It's time for them to take that next step, add that next layer of credibility for the next tier, which would be the top tier, big dog title. Mm-hmm. And then for the women's, I like whoever comes out of SmackDown. Okay. Whether it's going to be Nia or Bianca, I don't care. They will.
And just for the fun of it, who will it be, Nia or Bianca?
Honestly, with the whole injury thing and everything going on with Bianca, I think it'll be Nia.
So you got Nia as queen.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So shift back over to me here real quick. So my thoughts have been the same. I really said since the beginning that I thought it was Gunther and Nia Jax's tournament to lose. I thought there was maybe one other direction that they could potentially have gone in the women's division, and that would have been to potentially go with Tiffany Stratton, because I do think that Tiffany would have made a fantastic Queen of the Ring. It seems to fit her persona, it seems to fit her personality. Because you kind of got the vibe when Zelina won it a couple of years ago that she had kind of a regal feel about her. So the Queen persona fit her very well. I think people maybe like Carmella or Alexa Bliss, I feel like, could have been able to pull it off well. But, I've been saying for a while that I think it's Gunther and Nia's tournaments to lose. So I'm actually going to side with the same thing that Alyssa went with. I think that Gunther and Randy Orton will ultimately be your King of the Ring final. I think Orton will go over Tama Tonga. And you're going to that is going to be the get your popcorn out and make sure you've already used the restroom beforehand. Do not miss that match because you are going to see something amazing. Orton, Gunther, with the run they have, both of them have been on, they're going to put on an absolute banger. And also I'm going to give Gunther credit where it's due. He did it a lot during the Intercontinental title run, but it still continued on. So far, 3 wins in the tournament, including 2 very tough ones towards the end, including over Jay. Ludwig Kaiser's been nowhere to be found. He has done this on his own because he feels like you cannot be having this credible run if I am not going to go out here and win these matches on my own. So I do think it'll be Orton coming off of SmackDown, but Gunther wins the men's. As for the women's, with all my heart, I want to pull for Lyra Valkyria. I do think the injury to Bianca Belair, plus I think maybe a little youthful ignorance and maybe a little rage from Jade will cost Bianca the match against Nia. So I do feel Nia will go up. And I want so badly to say that somehow, some way, Lyra is going to pull the upset, but I just don't think it's going to happen. It's been Nia's tournament to lose since the beginning. So I'm going to go with Gunther and Nia Jax taking King and Queen of the Ring, respectively. And Kia, to wrap it up.
So for me, I'm going to pick one opposite of you and Alyssa. I'm going to take Randy to win the whole thing. I don't know, just for me, I feel like he's been around long enough. I feel like he's been here long enough. I feel like this is technically Gunther, no disrespect, because I feel like he deserves it too. But for me, and seeing the history and the lineage that Randy Orton has come from, it gives it a feel of he could be your possible next king of the ring. You know,
It's the one accolade that
He
Orton doesn't have.
Yeah.
So like that would be for me. That'd be Randy for me.
Okay.
Going over Tonga because that's just a whole story, and that's just a whole another thing in itself. I don't even have time to open up that can of worms.
I think we can all safely say that if Orton beat Gunther, no one is going to fault that decision.
Absolutely not.
Like
I'll
I
be
think it's
happy
a
either
great.
way.
I think it's a great path no matter who wins. I think Tonga's the one that's out. But anyway, so you're taking Orton to win the whole thing.
I'm taking Orton to win the whole thing.
Okay.
Now, when it comes to Lyra, mad respect. You've done your thing. You've come up. Girl, the fact that you were in the draft and you knocked it out of the park. Happy for you. Question though, what happened to that injury? Is she no longer injured no more? I thought she had a hurt leg. Maybe that was just NXT.
She had a hurt shoulder.
Is that NXT? Is that
That was NXT, and that was 2 months ago.
Okay, Kia a little behind, but that's okay. So anyway,
It's time to go to bed, y'all.
Yes,
It's been a long day.
So when it comes to that, Nia literally, and it said, she's the irresistible force. She is literally knocking down people left and right. And I feel like she's a big girl, and big girl's gonna get it done. That's going to be my queen of the ring. Nothing against Lyra.
Or Bianca.
You know what? Nothing against Bianca, but you know that.
I mean, and the joy of
the injury with Bianca, I feel like kind of will hinder her, and I feel like Jade saying what she's gonna say, I feel like that'll kind of play a role too. Like, hey, I thought we were supposed to be a team. This, that, the third. No, baby, Queen of the Ring. Only one person can win that thing.
And I do feel like it's almost unfair because of the fact that your choice was either Lyra Valkyria, or you get Nia or Bianca. Right. It's like, do you want Lyra or the field? And it almost felt like that one was kind of unfair to Lyra. But, weirder things have happened, and I don't think anyone could have projected Lyra getting to this point. So, hey, why not go win one more?
Yeah.
Plus that Saudi Arabian crowd will go very different, so we will definitely see what happens. But basically, we're going Nia across the board, and then Alyssa and I are both going Gunther, and you're going Orton. And again, like I said, if Orton goes over Gunther, I don't think anyone's going to fault it. Because that's a person that if Gunther loses to Randy Orton...
You can take that.
Like, that's an L you can take.
To Randy Orton.
Like, that's an L you can take. So, I could definitely see it happening. But with that does go ahead and bring an end to our show. So I'm going to pull the other camera over here where that way I can... be on here at the same time. This is the only time that we ever actually split screen this thing. And hopefully it's not messing with the sound too much. But either way, we tried something new here. This allows me to be able to do my editing while we're, in the middle of all of this. So, anybody that stuck around here, I've seen a couple of names that have been over in our viewer chart that have actually stuck around for the whole show. For y'all that stuck around, thank you so much for hanging around. Definitely get more encouraged to get into the chat because we'd love to be able to answer questions, get y'all's thoughts in future episodes. But again, another live event of, that will be, early part of the afternoon, so we get wrestling in the middle of the day, but then still can, go enjoy dinner and still enjoy, our evening sports or movies or whatever it is we're going to be doing. Don't quite have the plans all finalized yet. And as I said, we got, some fun stuff that Kia's going to be a part of this weekend, but we can't talk about it quite yet. But it's coming up soon, but we're definitely looking forward to it. But all the way around, final parting thoughts. Besides, you want to go to bed? Because we all know that's what's coming out of your mouths.
I took a nap earlier, so I'm good.
And yet...
Lies and deceit. She'll be in there asleep before everybody else. I don't want to hear it. Anyway.
They're not wrong on that.
What y'all didn't have to do is do me.
But either way, thank you so much for joining us on all of this. I did release a plate exchange episode. We've got Jade and Bianca's plates on the women's tag titles. We got Fraser and Axiom's plates on the NXT championship tag team titles as well. And maybe some new stuff forthcoming here once this live event is over on Saturday. But this is Steve and Alyssa and Kia with. On the ring apron, part of Mania Club. Go support Mania Club, our fight with Connor's Cure to battle and bring an end to childhood cancer and everything else. Nobody deserves to have to go through that. We just raised over $40,000. We did a $1,500 WWE draft earlier this month. It doesn't have to be money. It could be time. It could be energy. TME, that's what that Kia's red jersey over there is all about. Is about, TME, give your time, your money, and your energy. And really, I think that's just a good life lesson as well. If you give those three, you'll be fine. Also, a quick shout out to one more time to TruettsLuau for sponsoring this episode. You know, we got to keep the lights on and pay the bills and whatnot. But either way, you know, thank y'all again for joining us. Ladies, send us home.
Peace out.
I am so glad I didn't cut your camera yet.
He hates us. Oh, Lord, help.